Welcome to Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we're going to show you how to replace the spark plugs and coils on this 2008 550i BMW. It's going to apply from 2005 to 2010. This car specifically has the 4.8, which applies from 2005 all the way to 2010. Let's get to it. All right, parts and tools needed are going to be the coils and the plugs themselves, a ratchet, torque wrench, variation of a deep 10 and a non-deep 10, an E7 Torx flathead, 2 stubby extensions, a T30, and a 5/8 socket. That's it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to run into our first thing here, which is going to be the top cover. It's going to be held in with 4 10mm acorn nuts, so we'll just go ahead and just loosen them up. And I'll just put those there for now. And then we'll just go ahead and lift the cover up. It'll just come right up. And we'll set this off to the side. All right, so after you get the top cover off, we're gonna go ahead and take these side covers off. They're just held in with rubber grommets, so they shouldn't be held in with too much tension. All right, so we'll set this off to the side here. And we'll do the same for the passenger side. All right, we'll set this off to the side as well. All right, so basically here are our coils on the driver's side. So we're gonna have 4 obviously, so we're gonna have 2 here and then 2 here. The rear one is gonna be kind of like the pain because of limited space, but we're going to do some things that we'll show you later on how to get to it. Same thing with about the passenger side. We got 2 here and then 2 here, and then of course we'll end up removing some things that we'll show you later as well to go ahead and make some room to get that plug out. Let's go ahead and get to the driver's side. All right, so what we're going to do to make it a little bit easier for us is take off the airbox assembly. So we'll just go ahead and undo our clips for the engine filter. We should have another one here. That one's held in with a clip at the bottom that you lift up. So we got that there. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and undo the mass airflow sensor. It has a cover on it. They just have little clips here that you can just take off with your fingers. And the cover actually comes right off. So we'll set that off to the side. And then we'll just go ahead and pinch the connector tab and pull out. Fantastic. And then we have the a flathead. Let's go ahead and our flathead and just loosen this clamp up. You may want to hold the clamp while you're loosening it up. Don't need to do it too much. So now we'll go ahead and lift up the top of the airbox, as long as it's not catching on anything. If it does, just go ahead and swing out the clips like this. So push down and then just swing it out. Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a twist and kind of pull out at the same time. We'll set this off to the side. We'll go ahead and take out the air filter here. Okay. And so the airbox is held in with, I believe, 3 T30 Torx bits, screws or bolts. So we have one right here, and then another one, I believe, right here. This doesn't look like it's attached, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. gonna go ahead and try it first without removing that third one that I think doesn't apply to it, but it does. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the third one right here. They're all the same screw size, by the way, so you don't have to worry about it. Looks like there we are. So we got that out of the way. Now we have more room to get to the front spark plugs here. So we're gonna go ahead and focus on this next. All right, so we're gonna take these kind of like clamps off that hold the coils in place. This is an E7 Torx, so it's an external Torx bit, so it looks like a socket, not a typical Torx bit. So we're gonna go ahead and just loosen it up. And one thing you should notice is that there's an arrow pointing right here that says front, so obviously that'll point towards the front of the vehicle, so like towards the radiator and stuff like that. Okay, just gonna keep everything together. But like I said, there's a front, so that's gonna point towards the front of the vehicle. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the rear one too, because might as well just get it out of the way since I have it on the thing here. But as you can see, it's right here. Gotta be careful because these BMWs have like a little engine cover at the bottom, like a splash shield. If you drop your tool back down there, it's always such a pain to just get it out. So just be careful about that. It's not very much room back there, so swinging room is not the greatest. See if I can take it off by my finger. Awesome. So also same orientation, front for the rear ones. All right, so now we'll go ahead and start focusing on getting the connectors out of the coils. So these may be either really tight or not, but essentially what's going to happen is once you get it all the way up straight, it releases the connector. So just go ahead and, if you can't get it all the ways, just use a flathead screwdriver. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to get these ones out first. There's a hole in there. You may be able to just use your finger and pull it out, just like that. If not, another trick is to use like an extension or something like that. Essentially you get an extension and just pull up, so it'll make it a lot easier. Okay, we'll get this one out too. Okay, let's see if we can get those rear ones. I feel like those are going to be the tricky ones. It pulled off the thing there. It's okay, no big deal. If you happen to accidentally pop it off, it should pop back into place. There we go. And that rear one is probably going to be blocked by this positive battery terminal. And we're going to go ahead and try to pop this off first here. At least get the somewhat easy part of the job out of the way. Okay. All right, give it a little twist. going to try to somewhat get it up or loosen up the bond there. So I'm going to go ahead and tackle this, I believe it's this 10 millimeter nut. And then we're going to try to get that plastic bracket off so that we can go ahead and pull that up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get a 10 millimeter in there, preferably a short because it's not very much room. So let's go ahead and get this right here. This is the one. So it goes from this battery terminal here, and it goes all the way down here. So we'll go ahead and loosen that up. You can use a regular 3/8. I just chose to use a 1/4 inch because, or not 1/4 inch, but I think it's 1/4 inch. Just decided to use a smaller socket because it's a lot easier to get in there. Again, be careful because you don't want to drop anything in this engine bay because it's just the worst of the worst with BMWs and any European car when you drop something. Let me see if I can do that by hand. Yes, you can. So it's a plastic nut too, so even if you had a magnet or something like that, it's not coming off. You cannot get it. All right, so we'll go ahead and loosen that out. Just a little cover for that. And then that should give us enough room to kind of maneuver the wire in some sort of way. I'm going to probably put it under and then try to lift out the coil here. We're going to fold that in, and then we're going to try to bend it. There we go. Boom. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use a 5/8 socket with two short extensions because the rears are going to be the ones that are going to give you the most problems or trouble. So we'll just go ahead and insert that there for the main one. Probably just use an additional extension on these ones because it's just easier. But I won't be able to do that for the rears. Okay, so that's it right there. That's cylinder, the first cylinder there. This one I probably won't get as lucky with the power tool, but I'll give it a shot and see what happens. Beautiful, got that one out. Let's see what we can do about this one right here. The third one. This one may require me to, oh, we're good. This one I'll have to use manual labor. I think I can get this by hand actually. So we're good there. I'll just go ahead and pull it through here because it's just, that's where it wants to go. All right, and then last but not least on this side, what we're probably gonna end up doing is separating it and just dropping this in there. So the fourth one is going to be all the way back here. Probably gonna be hard to see, but we are gonna do our best. All right, it's on there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take the extension and stick it in there. Okay, got our extension in there. Let's go ahead and get our socket wrench in there. All right, so I loosened it up enough now. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my hand to go ahead and twist it out. You'll typically know when it's like really, really easy that it's more likely threaded out at this point. So I'm gonna try to go ahead and lift up the socket here if I can, but also try to pull it. You can use a magnet, but I'm gonna go ahead and separate the extension now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully don't drop it back in there. And I have a healthy baby boy. So this plug looks like he's gonna need a valve cover gasket because there's oil on there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start from hardest to easiest at this point. So let me get the oil off my thumb. But as you can see, this is the old spark plug. This is the replacement. So this might be the same exact one. So awesome. We'll include the spark plugs in the description. So I'm gonna go ahead and start from the back first because it's just gonna be the challenging one. And I'd like to get it out of the way. So just make sure you find the hole. So it's right here. Just be gentle. Don't try not to drop it. If you do, it's not the end of the world, but you know, as long as you don't bend the end of it. All right. Now again, we're just gonna go ahead and stick in the extension. I'm just gonna find the. I don't have it in all the way. There we are. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and try to screw it in by hand until it bottoms out, and then we're gonna torque it down. It's 18 foot-pounds. We're gonna see if we can get our I think I can get my torque wrench in there. I don't think it'd be a big deal. Okay, now I get my torque wrench. I'm gonna go ahead and make our adjustments here. All right, so that's 20, go down to there. Awesome, just make sure it's on tightening. Okay. We'll go ahead and get our torque wrench in there if we can. And then we're going to go ahead and give it the torque. Fantastic, so that's torqued down. We got 3 more to go. See if we can get this socket out. Just go under the, I guess I'll separate it like I did before. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put our third plug in there. Let me just go ahead and sneak through like how I did before on there. That should give me a little bit of room to go ahead and get that in there. Fantastic. Bottomed out. Now I'm gonna get our torque wrench on it again. All right, so that's torqued down. Go ahead and slide it out like the same way that we did through this little opening of the wire, just because it just seems to be less to fight back. All right, ouch. Go ahead and do the same thing here. Just go ahead and screw it in by hand. Okay. Let's go ahead and torque it down. Awesome. Then we'll do the last one right here. Cylinder 1. Fantastic. Great. Now we can go ahead and start putting the coils in. All right, we're going to put our new coils in. So initially what needs, probably the rear is going to be kind of a pain, but you have to have it pointed up before you can insert the connector, because this actually grabs the connector and locks it in place. So because of the last one, we're going to probably put it down and lift it up and then put the connector in. So let's do that. Put the, there we go. Stupid wires in the way, unfortunately, so let's put that down. There we go. Just kind of gotta have to fight a little bit. And easiest way to get this in there now at this point is to point the connector kind of towards where this needs to go. And it'll only go in one way. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in place, but the freaking positive wire is in the way, preventing me from locking it down like I want to. Alright, screw it. I'm just gonna go ahead and push the coil all the way down first. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and insert the connector. Alright. And then gonna push down on the positive lead here, the wire, and then clip it in place. Push that down. Now going forward, it should be a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and put this down, insert that. Okay, lift that all the way out, insert the connector here, and then it'll push this down, and then it should grab it. Should be in the keyword. There we go. That's in place. Just push down on it, just to make sure you're good. So you might find that, there we go. So there we go. Locked it in place, pushed it down. So I think what the trick is here is to push it until it clicks into place like that. And then boom. That completes the driver's side. And we'll go ahead and start putting all the stuff that we took off earlier back in place. All right, so remember we took off the little guide here for the positive wire. So there's actually like a little hole, you're probably not gonna see it, for the tab, I believe, that this goes into. So we're gonna go ahead and try to insert that into it. And then we're gonna go ahead and try to get the wire to follow the little path here. Put our 10mm plastic nut in place. Never mind, I forgot. I did not use an electric tool on that, so. And you don't need to go insanely tight on this. Just need it enough so it doesn't rattle. I'm just gonna bottom it out and kind of maybe put a little bit of pressure on it, but not much. There we go. That should do it. All right, now that we got everything in place, now we're gonna go ahead and put the hold downs for the ignition coils. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our E7 out. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the rear one first and hope to everybody that I don't drop anything. Okay, so it looks like it's started. Now I should be able to go ahead and tighten it down. It's gonna wobble around, but once you start getting kind of close to where it starts to get some tension on it, then let's focus on that. But it looks like it has a cutout in there, so let's try to fit it in the cutout. This is not going to do it just yet. And we're just going to keep tightening it until it bottoms out. All right, so that's tight now. Let's go ahead and knock out the easier one here. All right, so that's now in place. Let's go ahead and put it in the gearbox. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our assembly in here. So as you can see, there's going to be like a, there's gonna be this right here that we're gonna go ahead and connect the tube to. So just make sure that you line it up with that. And once you do, just gonna go ahead and line it up. We're gonna push down. Now we can go ahead and get our T30s out. another one right here. And then we'll get our other one, our last one right here. All right, let's just go ahead and just, won't go crazy tight on this, so. It's an air box. You don't need to go insanely tight with these. All right, now that we got those locked in place, just make sure to not lose the connector here, because if it gets buried in there, it'll be kind of a pain in the butt. So now we're gonna go ahead and put our filter in. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put in the top portion of the airbox. There's a little line up tab here that lines up in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just line that up. Tilts all the way in there, just like that. We'll go ahead and put our airbox in there. The clips sometimes like to go under and prevent you from actually tightening it down. Your vehicle may vary, but obviously some of the clips are broken on this one. So we're just gonna go ahead and tighten down what we have. Okay, and this one's kind of a pain. So let's get they chose to put the stupid design here on the one that has the most tightest fit. All right. So it doesn't matter here at this point. Just redo your work. Just because of a damn clip. Okay. So let's redo that. Put it back in place. Make sure that your clips have a tendency to just make your life difficult. There we go. We can go ahead and get this one in. And I'm just going to use a screwdriver to lock that down. So there's going to be one right here, and then there's going to be one right here. This one's broken. This one's broken. So this was dangling around. It's not going to do anything. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and insert the connector here for the mass airflow sensor. And then we have the cover here for that. So it's going to lock into the these little pieces right here. And then just make sure that see, I had it the wrong way. So you'll know you have it the wrong way when this is pointing towards the other direction. So we will go ahead and put that there. You need to have that channel for the wire open. Put that in place. And then we're going to go ahead and put the cover in place. You have two grommets here that these pegs are going to go ahead and stick into. So just try to line it up as best as you can. All right, so you kind of have to push hard on them once you line them up. So now that's in place. I did forget to tighten up the clamp here, so let's go ahead and do that. Fantastic. It's always good to make sure that you have this pointed in an easy direction for you to go ahead and remove that if you have to in the future. So now that we're done with the driver's side, we're going to go down off to the passenger side now. All right, so just like we did on the driver's side, we have these little hold downs for the coils. So we're just going to go ahead and get our E7 Torx on these. You have a little bit more room here to work with. Okay, we're going to go ahead and tackle the rear one. Again, front will always be pointing towards the radiator or the front of the vehicle. Okay, now that we have those out of the way, we're going to do the same thing that we did on the driver's side. Start pulling these coil like clips or whatever that hold the connector in. So just pop it out. Okay, gonna go ahead and pull on it. Same thing here. May need to use the flathead. There we go. Now to get that one out, it's gonna be a pain in the butt because we have the AC lines in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and just release the connector first. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take these two 10 mils off, which are already loose. I guess the previous person didn't tighten them up, because they probably knew they'd be back in here again. All right, so once we got those off, we're gonna go ahead and try to position this in a way where this kind of moves forward. Just be careful, you don't want to pull too much on these. Alright, so in my case, the thing wants to dig into the rubber instead of actually go past it like I want it to. There we go. I'm gonna try to be careful not to bend it too much. And I'm gonna try to pry on this here, get the coil out. Put the connector down if you can. So you can see, just running into a little snag here. You got the wiring harness that's in the way. Let me see if I can put this down just a little bit more. And there we go. Making progress. There we go. That's difficult. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tackle the rear one, because that's the pain in the one in the pain in the butt. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this half in there somehow. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing like we did on the driver's side. Just get the half inch or the half portion of it inside there. Whatever. Probably gonna need another extension or something in there. All right, so once you have it in there, I'm gonna go ahead and get our socket wrench and break it loose. Okay, now that's partially loose. I'm just gonna go ahead and take out my socket wrench. All right, now it's loose. We go ahead and do the same trick that we did earlier. Just pull that portion of it while holding the bottom half. Let's see if we can get that out. Angles are very important when working on this car because they have the worst angles. Now we're going to go for the third cylinder. Okay. Now we're going to put the second half of the extension in there. We'll take the top portion of it off, separate it, same thing. This one should be a lot easier. There we go. Pop that guy out. All right, there's a reservoir in the way, so we're gonna go ahead and do the half and half. Sneak it through here, actually. Nice. All right. Put our new plugs in, starting from the back. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the rear one first because it's the pain. It sucks just cause. So we're gonna gently try to drop that in there if we can. There we go. Get our other half of the extension here. There we go. I'll go ahead and screw it in by hand. Alright, that might be tight, might not be. Gonna get our torque wrench and torque it to 18 foot-pounds. Fantastic. Now that we got that locked down, let's go ahead and pull it halfway out until we can feel the other portion of it. And then we're going to separate it. There we go. Now I'm going to try to get this bracket back into place where it was before. So that makes it easier to put the other ones in there. All right, so those were the center metal collars. We'll go ahead and put those in later. Now we'll go ahead and get the third plug in. Now we'll go ahead and torque it down. Beautiful. Go ahead. Come on, man. Why are you doing this to me? If your socket decides that it wants to stay in there and never come out, you're just gonna have to wiggle it out somehow. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put in the second one here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the first cylinder here. Okay, we'll go ahead and torque it down. All right, so if you guys noticed, I jumped the gun a little bit on putting that AC line in there, and then of course I dropped the little collars inside there, which I'm gonna have to take care of off camera, because you get, with any BMW, anything that you drop is pretty much never gonna come out until you drop that bottom cover. Most of the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the new coils. I'm gonna have to drop this out again, like an idiot. So just gonna have to fight this stupid freaking piece of crap. All right, let me go ahead and get the new coils. All right, so it's gonna be easier to have the connector down like we did the other side. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to fish it in here somehow. You are gonna fight it. That's just guaranteed. Might have to just get the start of the coil plug in there, and then it should get in there. Okay, obviously make sure you point it towards the connector. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put the connector in now. Now I should be able to go ahead and push down on it more. There we go, that's bottomed out. Should be able to get this one in there. See if I can get this back into place. Okay. Let's go ahead and push this in there. Okay, this guy right here. All right, I'm gonna put the last one in. Push it down. Boom. I'm gonna put these little Hold down's in place. All right, remember again, make sure it's pointing forward. Just gonna go ahead and get the rears. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the beauty cover in place here. Just be careful because it's gonna catch on stuff. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to look in here and just make sure that we can try to get as close to that. So this needs to go in there. So push on it hard. Eventually. There you go. There we go. All right. Then we're gonna go ahead and try to retrieve those little collars so we can go ahead and tighten this up. All right, so unfortunately, once you drop something in here, you can't find it. I'm not finding it. It might have fallen somewhere in a shield or something. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the nuts to hold them in place. I'm not gonna tighten them too tight because I don't want to rip the rubber. I'll probably end up just getting it from the junkyard.
You want this?
I should hold it there. Let's go ahead and tighten that up. Enough to the point where it's not going to wiggle or back out of place. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and start putting the top cover in. All right, once we've got everything in place, we're just going to go ahead and mount on these studs the top cover. Now it's in place. Let's go get our acorn nuts in place. That's it, we're done. Thank you for watching Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we just showed you how to replace the spark plugs and coils on this 2008 550i BMW. It's going to apply from 2005 all the way to 2010. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.